In the face of the coronavirus pandemic, Formula One has had to adopt a raft of brand new hygiene protocols to ensure the safety of drivers and team staff in their bid to go racing this season. The FIA have also released a 74-page guideline of measures applicable to not only core F1 staff, but track marshals, circuit officials, and more, emphasising that a safe and healthy restart is absolutely critical. Formula One has outlined 5 specific measures that the sport will be undertaking in conjunction with the respective authorities and promoters. These include regular testing. Using private testing, any team members and staff attending a race will be tested for Covid-19 prior to travelling, and must produce a negative result to be allowed to attend. Additional testing will be required every 2 days while out at events alongside extra screening. Closed events. The opening 8 races are not expected to be open to any spectators, guests, or partners, limiting the paddock and circuit to only essential personnel. Minimal personnel. There will be a significantly smaller presence in the personnel travelling to each race across the board for teams, the FIA, suppliers, and F1 themselves. These personnel will be required to isolate in their respective team bubbles and to not mix or interact with others. Isolated travel. Staff who have had a Covid-19 negative test certificate will also travel in an isolated manner, with the use of charter flights where possible and private transfers between circuit venues, hotels, and airports. They will be required to travel in a restricted bubble to defeat any chance of a wider interaction with any non-tested members of the public. Social distancing. Social distancing protocols will be put in place at the venue and enforced throughout the paddock and circuit at each event. There will be alterations to pre- and post-race activities, including but not limited to the national anthem, parc fermé, podiums, and the cool-down rooms, which will be altered to ensure safe distances can be withstood, as well as media obligations and interviews. Could this be the new normal for Formula One going ahead? And, with no clear end day in sight to the ongoing pandemic, could F1 see these measures implemented well beyond the first 8 races? Mercedes were the first team to experience Formula One's new reality of hygiene protocols, after fulfilling a 2-day private test session at Silverstone with both Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. Following weeks of the team's factory being shut down and staff being stuck at home due to the pandemic, the sight and sound of F1 cars on track was a welcome return. The private test has enabled Mercedes to conduct a real-world test of the new health and safety procedures F1 teams will have to observe while operating their cars once the season gets underway behind closed doors next month. As shown in the video, Mercedes personnel are seen adhering to social distancing guidelines where possible, and wearing personal protective equipment, PPE, including gloves and face masks. One prominent example of the new measures that teams are having to take is the usage of face shield masks, in addition to plastic gloves and masks for any engineers that have to be in close proximity to drivers, as shown by the engineer strapping Bottas into the car. Formula One has rapidly evolved over the years, but could this be one of the biggest changes the sport has ever had to contend with? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe to Crash for more motorsport content.